This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or an entire video dedication, then feel free to check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. This video is dedicated to James Humphreys. James, thank you. Here, Imaginative Rascal and Toothy, Imaginary Friend, versus Alela, Artful, Provocateur, Multani, Yavimayas Avatar, and the brand new Kinnan, Prodigy. That is about as bad as a hand as we could ever draw, so let's make use of our mulligan. Okay, that's pretty sketchy as well, but yeah, there's every chance that we just run out of cards, but at least we can get out Toothy easily. So yeah, we definitely keep that one. A turn 1 play in Arboreal Grazer, coming down from Multani. But not much more than that. We're going to go in for Nature's Law. We'll grab Tropical Island with that so that we can go for a Ponder. And see if we want to shuffle the top of our library, or shuffle the top 3 cards away. Alright, Coalition Relic isn't terrible to get into next turn. Brainstorm isn't bad either. Yeah, I think we go land, Coalition Relic and Brainstorm. Yeah, we can Brainstorm and cast Coalition Relic next turn. Oh, actually we're going to draw one, aren't we? I always forget about the draw on Ponder. Sylvan Caryatid for the Kinnan player. The Kinnan player, by the way, is the 7 Deadly Sins, a friend of the channel, who we sometimes get games with in the Discord, and then guaranteed to get games because they are patrons. Go Batman and Jero the Guru playing Multani and Alela respectively. So a big thank you to the 2 of them for supporting the channel. It is really helping during these trying times. The Arboreal Grazer going over to Jero for a massive 0 points of damage. The first artifact coming down over there is Thought Vessel for Alela. Now let's get back round to our turn. Yeah, we're just going in for that Coalition Relic, aren't we? Put the charge counter on it straight away, and I'll Brainstorm straight away as well because I don't really see the harm in it this early in the game. Okay, just a bunch of lands on top with no means of shuffling at the moment. So we will... Yeah, I think we're going for Pir and maybe Toothy next turn. Yeah, we might go for both actually. So let's protect Fathom Mage, and we can draw into a land next turn. Kinnan coming down along with Gaia's Cradle, so they are off to the races. Tapping down this for 2 as well, thanks to their commander, and getting into Rhystic Study. Put a Naturalize, eating the Rhystic Study straight away. Yeah, that's what I like to see. So often games go on and on and on with a Rhystic Study in play, and they just draw a boatload of cards, but they didn't get a single one from that one. Alela deciding to just pass over, curiously enough. Maybe they've got Fact or Fiction or something, I don't know. They obviously want to play Alela while they've got protection held up anyway. And speaking of which, do we want to... I don't think we want to get out both of our commanders, do we? I think we just want to go in for Pir at the moment. So we'll go in for Pir, Imaginative Rascal. And yeah, there's priority being held up here, so there's some kind of counter magic, but deciding to allow it through. We're certainly not going to shuffle because we've got a Fathom Mage on top. Targeted myself with the partner ability on Pir. Let's go for a couple of charge counters onto this, and we'll hold up that Arcane Denial, I think. And surprisingly, Kinnan just passing the turn with mana open as well. They do have 7 mana available, but it's noteworthy that I need to keep saying this just in case there's people out there that don't watch all the videos. There's no Cyclonic Rift in our games because the patrons voted to ban that. So while they've got 7 mana held up, they're not allowed to cast Cyclonic Rift, although it's a bit early for that card anyway. then Go-Go passing the turn as well, so everyone's just passing through each other's... everyone's passing through each of their turns. I don't know if that's because we've got blue held up or if it's because Alela paused on our turn. The problem is their mana's a bit weird at the moment. They can't play their commander and hold up counter magic. And Empyrean Eagle, that's an anthem for all of their flyers, holding up black mana now. So obviously don't know what their plan was through the last turn. Okay, so we get into the Fathom Mage, and we're going to get 2 mana from Coalition Relic. We'll play a land. Now then, if we go Fathom Mage, then we can go Toothy, but we won't have mana held up for Arcane Denial, and we need Arcane Denial really. Yeah, let's just go in for Toothy. And then just for the sake of doing something, why don't we go Scavenger Grounds, and we can still hold up the Arcane Denial. Now at the end of Kinnan's turn, they are tapping down all that mana. Alright, not holding up any cards, just going in for the ability. Look at the top 5 cards, put a non-human from amongst them onto the battlefield, and the rest go on the bottom. Oh, and they whiff on that, luckily for us. Kinnan just continuing to hold up mana, no doubt going in for that ability again if there's nothing in hand that they like. And Multani coming down, so we're just missing Alela, and then all the commanders are in play. This is a pretty cautious and slow game so far. And there we are, Alela will complete the set. Everyone's got their commanders in play and everyone seems to be stalemating so far. But if we're all setting up, then it at least gets us into some explosive turns later down the line, in theory. Now then, let's go to exile something with the Scavenging Ooze. We'll get rid of that Naturalize just in case there's an Eternal Witness or something like that. And then we'll put some charge counters on. There's always the risk that someone can do something with an instant that we can't counter, but I think it's worth running the risk. Doesn't seem as though anyone wants to do anything to us yet. We draw a card at the beginning of the turn, of course, and that allows Toothy to get a plus counter, or a couple of plus counters on it, thanks to Pir. A couple of mana from the relic again. Let's go for the Fathom Mage. And then we'll go in for E-Witness onto the Brainstorm as well. A couple of plus counters go onto the Fathom Mage from the Eternal Witness, evolving it, which means we will draw cards twice, or draw a card twice, one for each plus counter. And we get into Mana Drain, that's nice. And a Signet, that's not terrible either. Yeah, I think we're just holding up Mana Drain and the Brainstorm. Alright, and then I think we have to swing in at Multani. No, we don't. We'll just hold back. I forgot Multani has Trample, and it'll just trample through everything we've got. Can't swing in here because it has Death Touch. I will remember it this time. There was a game, well, probably a few months ago at this point. I completely forgot that this had Death Touch. And I don't want to swing into Kinnan because they'll probably end up getting a big Eldrazi down to block our Toothy with or something like that. So trying their luck again with Kinnan. And this time they get into Green Warden of Marassa. Yeah, I think we have to take a turn off with the Coalition Relic. Actually, maybe we'll get away with not using counters. So let's go for Scavenging Ooze. Depending on what our opponents do, we won't necessarily want to use counter magic. Getting into another mana dork here. Taps down for a mana. But if you've got power 4 or greater in play, add 2, so that will tap down and add for 3 in this deck. Going for Talisman of Curiosity as well. I think they've still got the ability held up. 1, 2, that is 6, 7 and 8. Yes, they do. Then Green Warden of Marassa, surprisingly swinging into Alela. What card have they got in the graveyard? They don't have a card in the graveyard that they want to get back. They might want to cast something at instant speed in response to the Death Touch block, or maybe they just want Alela out of play. Alela will probably just take the damage here, I would have thought. Oh, there's a Greater Good. Oh, I really don't want them to have Greater Good, but at least they have to sack their commander for it. Yeah, it's easy for them to cheat the commander cost, especially with Greater Good in play. They can send it to the graveyard, but we can exile it from the graveyard. Alright, good, forcing the other Simic player to use their removal or their counter magic instead. So leaving Multani with a bird token. The Multani doesn't want to hang around anymore, people starting to attack and get the game going. Multani is going to most likely deal 7 points of commander damage here. Unless there's something else. Oh yeah, of course, they've got the activation, keep forgetting that. So they might get a big creature in the way. It'll have to be bigger than 7 power. And there we go, what did I say? Eldrazi, so that's exactly why I didn't swing in at them with Toothy before. Big 11-11. We need to try and get ourselves into some removal for that commander, and for the Eldrazi now. Now both the Empyrean Eagle and the Alela swinging in over here. So it might be that a board wipe's incoming. It is Conclave Tribunal, I don't know what that does. When it enters the battlefield, exile a non-land permanent an opponent controls until it leaves. Alright, I'm guessing that's going on the Eldrazi. I will allow it because I want to brainstorm this turn. And I wouldn't mind putting counters on the relic either. Okay, surprisingly, exiling the Green Warden of Marassa instead of the Eldrazi. I don't know if I'm missing something there, I don't understand that. But anyway, at the end of the turn we'll put charge counters on, do the usual, and go in for Brainstorm as well. Okay, Evolution Sage with a fetch in hand is not terrible. Let's go for Incubation Druid. Do we care about that? Yeah, I'd rather keep a forest in hand, so we go Incubation Druid and a forest on top. We draw into the forest next turn. And now Toothy is a 15-15, so I dare say they don't want to swing the Eldrazi in our way. We'll get down the Signet and the Evolution Sage, and then we'll play the Fetch Land and start proliferating and drawing some more cards. So we'll play a land, and we will... oh, we get to proliferate. Yeah, so we're going to end up drawing into that card on top that I'm not too worried about. We go like that. And then with those on the stack, we'll shuffle away that card that we don't care about. I can't even remember what it was now. Oh, and of course the fetch goes back over there. Forgot about that with It That Betrays. Still worth it for the proliferation, I think. They can have an extra land. Hopefully, yeah, obviously I don't know what we're going to draw into here. I think we're safe just going for a forest. We've still got Breeding Pool in, but I don't want to shock that in, to be honest. So we add counters to the same creatures again. Got landfall twice from the fetch. And then we draw 4 cards from Fathom Mage because we put a bunch of plus counters on there. Zendikar Resurgent. That, yeah, mana drain might help us to cast that. I don't want to cast it right now. Just getting into lands, unfortunately. Alright, yeah, just a bunch of lands. At least we got into that mana doubler. I think we have to continue to hold up mana. Let's see. Yeah, I just don't want that Eldrazi coming in towards us. So we'll hold back. Kinnan going straight into combat, so we'll see if they swing in with the Eldrazi. They do, they go in at Jero, the Alela player, who decided not to exile it for some reason. They've also tapped down their Death Toucher. So I don't know what they plan on sacrificing here. Alright, they're sacrificing their commander. Yeah, so as a means of not giving them any more permanents, they got rid of their commander and a token. Problem is they can't block now. Oh, did that just come out of the command zone? I didn't see that. Oh, it doesn't care where it goes, does it? So it's just pulled Alela out of the command zone. I thought that they were getting around it there, but apparently not, so... It That Betrays, stealing their commander. Now, I don't think Multani can come back out this turn, and it hasn't gone into the graveyard. Yeah, we're looking to counter something really big here, but it doesn't look as though the green player is managing to get much of anything going, really. They're being really unlucky. Multani is a very explosive commander, but you need the mana to go with it. Mace of the Valiant coming down from Alela, but nothing to really put it onto. What does the thing buff with? For each charge counter on it, whenever a creature enters, you put a charge counter on it. Yeah, pretty slow. And they can't even equip it, thanks to the 3 equip cost. So apparently we're not going to be countering anything. Let's exile some stuff with Toothy at the end of the turn. We'll get rid of that Greater Good. Get rid of Swan Song as well. Oh, now then, there's a new one. I have high hopes for this one. Ozolith means that I might swing in with Toothy. Although it triggers on the beginning of combat, doesn't it? We could put a bunch of plus counters onto Fathom Mage and draw our deck pretty much. Let's just go in for this Zendikar Resurgent, and hopefully we can get the game moving at some point. We want some kind of evasion for our commander, really. We'll get down that Ozolith as well. Okay, a counter spell on the Zendikar Resurgent I do not like the look of. Let's go for Arcane Denial on that. And then we can go Yavimaya Coast into the Ozolith. Oh, and we get Proliferate from the lands as well, don't we? So even more card draw. Alright, a Sky Shroud Claim I don't think is going to get countered, is it? Although it's forests, we won't be able to hold up blue mana with that, so we'll have to go for that next turn. Let's instead go for the Thought Vessel into the Ozolith, and that can be the end of our turn, I think. Let's swing in the Fathom Mage at go-go, and I think that's all we want to do here. Just want to try and get some permanents removed. We're all having to hang back here because of the big Eldrazi and the instant speed ability on Kinnan, Bond of Prodigy. Now then, how many activations can they go for? They've got 2. They've got some floating from the Gaia's Cradle. And, oh no, they're getting 2 Seaborn Muse. Yeah, that's the type of thing you'd like to counter, but I don't have a lot of counter magic in this deck, and I don't think I have any means of countering abilities. So they're going to be getting a lot of stuff down during the next turn cycle. Reclamation Sage coming down. I'm glad I didn't leave up a perfect amount of mana, just 1 island for the mana drain, although they're not going after Zendikar Resurgent, surprisingly. Going after the Ozolith, so we won't get to see how well that performs this game. And all of that going on at the end of our turn, so now Kinnan's turn can actually begin. And they will get some card draw from Arcane Denial. We get 1, they get 2. Oh, and that's what we needed, the Rogue's Passage. So now we just have to keep our fingers crossed that no one removes Toothy. Yeah, I'm glad I've been patient this game. I'm hoping that that can do it for us, or it can at least get rid of Kinnan. And I fancy my odds against the other two, because they haven't been having the best of luck with their mana. An Incubation Druid. Oh, I think that's what we put on top previously, isn't it? Then going to adapt it this turn. It won't have haste, but it's ready for them next turn. That will generate 4 mana, I think. Yeah, it taps for 3, plus an additional 1 from the commander. And then going for a Lightning Greaves, that will get them into a Fairy, which will give them more mana off of Gaia's Cradle. Then they go for an activation. I think they get another one. It's 7, isn't it? Yeah. So they do get another one after this. And they're going to get a whole heap more during each of our turns as well. We'll get themselves into a Jingataxias. So they're going to refill their hand at the end of the turn. Greaves going from the Incubation Druid. Oh, they've tapped this for mana from the Lightning Greaves. Forgot that that was in, so they do have haste if they want it. Only during their turn though. Protecting their commander with it before they go in for another activation. Luckily they whiff on that one. They do have Exploration, which will trigger Alela again. Then swinging in during combat, Alela is going in at Muldrotha, as is Seaborn Muse. And then the Eldrazi is going back in at Alela, sacrificing the Mace and the Tribunal. And this is going to put Green Warden of Marassa back into play, and they're going to get their counterspell back. Alright, exile a target permanent. That is going on to the Jingataxias. To be honest, I think I would have done it on Seaborn Muse. They don't really care about Jingataxias at this point. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you're between a rock and a hard place, really. That goes down. Green Warden of Marassa is going to get the counterspell back. I think we have to forego the Coalition Relic, not that it matters at this point. Let's see what they go for with the Conclave Tribunal. I mean, if they're going to go after our Toothy, then we can't win next turn. They're going after the Zendikar Resurgent. I actually don't mind that. That's good, so we can still hold up mana drain if we're desperate. Let's get rid of their counterspell. And there we are, we're back round to Gogo's turn now, but Seaborn Muse untaps everything. And they can go for a bunch more stuff off the top with their commander. You have to wonder if they're actually going to run out of creatures in their deck at some point. I mean, how many can they run in that deck? Just telling Jero not to wipe the board if he's got a board wipe, because I'm going to try and take out this player next turn. We've got counter magic back up, just in case they go for spot removal onto Toothy. And I'm hoping that Rogue's Passage can get through for the victory. And Jero not answering us, so I'm just hoping that they've seen that. It That Betrays sees Terramorphic Expanse, gets sacrificed and goes back over to their side of the field. They didn't go for a bunch of activations on their commander at the end of Muldrotha's turn, by the way, which is curious. I'm not sure what their reasoning is behind that. Maybe they don't want to hold the game up anymore. I don't know. A Chillbringer coming down now. That's a flying 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, tap a target creature an opponent controls and it doesn't untap. Surely that's not going on our stuff. That must be going over here. Yep, they're doing it on the Eldrazi, so that won't be able to swing in at them next turn. I'm hoping that it won't be in play next turn because we've knocked out the Kinnan player, but we'll see. Oh, we've got more backup in Force of Will. Yeah, we need to try and get into another blue card for that, although we can always hard cast it. Now Muldrotha is doing something during our turn. Not sure what the plan is. Cross and Grip goes on there, and that gives us back our double mana, so they're obviously trying to help us out here. So thank you to Gogo for giving us that back. That probably will help us actually. We go Rogue's Passage before I play any other land by accident. Add counters to Toothy and Fathom Mage. Then we'll draw a couple of cards from the Fathom Mage again. It's done a lot of work for us this game, in this board wipeless game. But we just keep drawing into lands for some reason. Alright, Strip Mine onto Gaia's Cradle isn't terrible either. Let's just go straight in for this Rogue's Passage. And then we'll go for the Sky Shroud Claim now, because it's pretty much free with a mana doubler in play, and it'll draw us more cards with Fathom Mage. I'm just worried about not being able to counter stuff. I want to have as many cards in hand as possible. And if we've got a blue card in hand, we can do Force of Will for free. Okay, Beast Within and a Sylvan Library, no blue cards yet. Oh, Prime Speaker's Agada is a means of drawing our entire deck if we want to win that way. I still want to draw a few more cards. I'm not trying to draw the game out. I'm trying to get into a blue spell that I don't mind exiling, so we'll draw a card with Zendikar Resurgent. Alright, there we go. Deep Glow Skate, that'll do. Don't think we need Deep Glow Skate, although we can draw a bunch of cards with Fathom Mage and Deep Glow Skate. So now we'll go through to combat and see if we can get rid of Kinnan. And they're going to do a load of stuff in response. I suppose they'll need to bounce Toothy if they're going to do anything. And we've got just enough cards to not lose. We'll draw exactly down to 0. So if our opponent gets rid of Toothy, they might actually help us. What did they get into there? There's World Spine Worm, which we don't care about. Yeah, if our opponent manages to bounce this with, I don't know what they do it with, Mana War or something like that, then we'll draw down to 0. We'll have Laboratory Maniac in hand, assuming we don't have it already, and we can get the win off by drawing a card with Prime Speaker or Deep Glow Skate. Although saying that, we'll draw a card to Zendikar Resurgent first, won't we? So we'll have to blow that up with the Beast Within. Yeah, just thinking of how we're going to do this if we don't manage to knock out our opponent. We might try and win this turn anyway. What have they got so far? They got themselves into a Findhorn Elves, already shown you the World Spine Worm. Now they get Leafkin Druid, and that looks like it's that. So managing to get rid of Kinnan down to 59 points of commander damage, and I don't think we can win this turn but we can try. How many cards will we draw? If we double this, that'll be 14 cards. Do we have Labman on the top 14 cards? Yeah, I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to play it slow and steady and slowly take my opponents out with Rogue's Passage. We've got Counter Magic held up, so I don't think they can really do anything to us. Like I said, they haven't had the best of games. A time wipe now. Yeah, we have to counter that. So we will absolutely go for the counter on the time wipe. So we go mana drain on there. We're going to be able to dump a bunch of plus counters onto the Fathom Mage at the beginning of the turn if we want to, off of the Forgotten Ancient. But I think we've got it at this point. We'll exile a few things from graveyards just in case. I don't think it's going to be of any relevance, but you never know. Let's dump some counters onto the Fathom Mage. And for each one counter from the Fathom Mage that goes... And for each one counter from the Forgotten Ancient that goes onto Fathom Mage, 2 go on there instead, thanks to Pir. Well, no Labman for us. Oh, I think I forgot to put the charge counters on Coalition Relic as well. I was too busy looking at everything else. So we get 5 mana from the mana drain. No Labman for us. We could go Deep Glow Skate and try and get into it. Let's go Rogue's Passage onto Toothy first of all. And then we will play... Verdant Catacombs just for the double landfall. Alright, another counter spell, that's good. We don't have too many counters in the deck, like I said, but we don't need too many when we're drawing into a bunch of cards like this. Let's crack the Verdant Catacombs and carry on trying to get into Labman. Yeah, just more lands. Alright, let's instead then go for... we'll go for Sakura Tribalkai so that we can get another land into play. I'm just being really paranoid and overly cautious about what my opponents could do here. But I think we're just going to go in at the Esper player. And then we'll likely just want to swing in at the mono green player, and that'll be that. Okay, Champion of Lamholt makes... Oh, that actually means that we can win this turn, doesn't it? Champion of Lamholt. Alright, so let's get that down. I'm trying to win as quickly as possible, believe it or not. We'll get down Hangerback Walker, just because it's a fast one to cast. I'm trying to get plus counters onto Champion of Lamholt so that this player can't block with anything, and then we can take them out with the Fathom Mage. Okay, there's a Soul Ring. We'll just get down Rex Sage, and I think that'll be us done for this game. Oh, actually, we got double counters on Champion of Lamholt, didn't we? So I didn't need to cast the Rex Sage. Apologies to my opponents. They're being incredibly patient with us here. Blow up the Thought Vessel, and then with the floating mana we'll get down the Soul Ring, and then it's through to attacks. Okay, Shared Summons. Search for up to 2 creature cards with different names. I mean, I don't think we care about that, do we? We'll let them search. They went for Oracle of Multani and Meteor Golem. Yeah, we're winning this turn, so we don't care about that. That goes in at the Esper player. That goes in at Go-Go. Neither of them can be blocked. This thanks to the Fathom Mage. And this thanks to Rogue's Passage. Although Champion of Lamholt actually stops any creature in play from blocking thanks to its big 5 power. Yeah, I was just saying to them in the chat there that it's bad luck. I know these two are better deck builders than that. You just need your deck to be on your side, and our deck was on our side today. Any other day, and our decks don't run properly. I've had entire days, entire play sessions where decks don't run very well for me, so it's just down to the luck of the draw, the heart of the cards, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, certainly not trying to dunk on my opponents or anything like that. It's just unlucky for them, I think. But we got to see a good Kinnan list and see just how powerful that commander is, first time playing against it, and I'm very impressed with that one. Be sure to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you did enjoy the content, and you can stay up to date with all the latest videos that come out, as well as push it out to new potential subscribers. I would be eternally grateful to you if you could do that for me. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, like I said, and I will see you all in the next one. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.